So let me get this straight. You are touring the Valve facilities, which is cool. I'm so glad that they invited you there. You tripped over a plug and you crashed the server farm the moment that Silksong launched.
Yeah, it was kind of embarrassing. And then I got like tangled in it, and it took a while to hours. There was like they had to bring in like a whole unit to help out. It was real bad.
Okay.
So.
Well, that at least explains why people weren't able to buy the game when it launched and the servers all came down. I thought it was due to popularity. Yeah. The stories were saying that it was due to the game's popularity, but I can see why they would want to cover it up, not sort of show user error on Valve's part. That makes sense.
A little embarrassing that there was just one cable. It was out in the open, too. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, just that one plug, dude, next to Steve's desk, And they're like, yeah, Steve didn't warn you. I tripped right over it. Well, Silksong, Hollow Knight Silksong is like talk of the town this week. It sold, I can't even remember. It just sold so many copies that it crashed basically almost all the game's stores that it was on. People couldn't buy the game, which is a weird problem. It's usually you can't launch the game because this game servers are overloaded. But no, the store servers were overloaded. You couldn't push buy fast enough. I haven't seen so much hype around an indie title. Like, I think this is literally the most hyped indie game potentially ever.
Possibly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's up there as one of the top. What I find fascinating is that it did crash. It wasn't actually me, but it did crash a bunch. I think like Nintendo's servers went down. I heard reported. Steam went down for a while, and it was hard to get like any games or buy anything. Yeah, and I think it's a two-part thing. First of all, super popular. Also, there wasn't any way to like preload or pre-order it beforehand, and so it was just day one, bam, right then and there, and then I think that's what caused the problem. Is there wasn't this build up to it like every other game allows you at least like a couple of weeks before to pre-order.
That makes sense, and that's more common in the indie scene, right? Because you got to set up. I don't know, but I assume you have to do a little extra setup to do some preloading and stuff like that, where you're like, you got to anticipate it. And small indie teams are just sort of like, nah, people will just download our game the day it comes out. But if millions of people, quite literally in this case, are like, well, cool, let me just download your game that's however many megabytes or gigabytes, all at the same time, that's a lot of bandwidth through a tiny pipe,
Yep.
So,
because it's not the biggest game that's released, ever, like even close. Like there's like Baldur's Gate 3 probably, millions of concurrent. It's like, I think Hollow Knight is currently at 300,000, which is insane for a single player indie title, right? Like that's absolutely incredible, but it's not the highest ever. Yeah. So I think it's just the fact that it was all at once.
I think you're right.
Super hype.
I wonder if Valve has a little warning, like a little alarm that's like, hey, the amount of people that have wishlisted this game and it doesn't have a preload option, like we should contact the devs right now so that we don't crash all the servers or whatever. Yeah. Or I'm actually surprised that Valve doesn't just queue downloads or something, but actually I'm not surprised because I look at the SteamWorks user interface, which is what developers use to publish a game on Steam. And that is a old, janky, desperately needed of an updated system. Yeah, it looks
not indicative of a billion-dollar company.
It looks like there's some legacy code baked in there where you're just like, oh, this is one of those things where they're like, either we rebuild this from the ground up or we just keep Band-Aid fixing on top of it. And I think they've just been Band-Aid fixing that thing for like decades.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So just a little behind the scenes at what's going on over for publishers at Valve. It's a little jank over there. But I guess they crashed all the servers, so we can't just look at Steam on itself. Nintendo went down.
Company.
Yeah. Well, good on them. I think it's pretty cool that they sold the game for $20 because they obviously didn't have to.
I saw a bunch of memes of like that one guy where he's busting through the door, with like his belt, and it's supposed to imply that he's, and then, but it's Team, I think Team Cherry, I think is the dev team. on the ground like, please, I have money, I can give you more money. Like,
Yeah.
people are like, yeah, we're willing to give you more, but they're like, nah, $20 is all it takes, and it's pretty awesome.
Isn't that cool that indie devs can just do cool stuff where they're like, oh yeah, we're not this like corporate greed machine that has to do things that make the most money always. We don't have shareholders that we have to appease. We don't have to do all this other stuff. You're like, no, $20. Yeah, we could probably sell it for 30. We could probably sell it for more than that and still get crap loads of sales and probably make even more money. But no, we feel like it's a $20 game, which is it's kind of awesome of them. I mean, they're doing fine. You know, they're gonna be driving their Lambos, regardless. But
yeah. They are a very small dev team.
Yeah. They're.
Let me see if I can.
Do you know how many? Yeah, they're just gonna. They'll only be able to buy one yacht a piece, but you know,
it's 3 people, according to the internet.
God, that's so cool. I mean, they took a while with this sequel, like what?
7 years.
7 years. So I mean, yeah. But
I didn't realize it was so small. That's absolutely insane.
It's a nice chunk of money to split 3 ways or however.
Oh yeah, they won't have to make another game. I imagine that they
didn't have to make another game after the first one. To be honest.
They didn't.
Yeah,
they didn't.
Yeah, so they took their time. They made something that they love. It's getting incredible reviews. I haven't played it yet. I'm surprised you haven't played it yet. You're the one that...
Yeah, I didn't play it. I tried the first one, and I think I was in a bad mood when I played it, and I just wasn't really vibing with certain aspects of it, like the boss run back, where if you die to a boss, you have to like run back to the boss, and I just found it obnoxious at the time. So I was like, I'm gonna take a step back. Good game. It's gorgeous, but I don't know. I'm not a big side platformer kind of guy.
Fair enough.
This one apparently also has some issues that it depends on who you are. I've heard complaints that it also has really bad boss run backs where you're just constantly having to run back all the time. It's also apparently really hard. We're complaining about the difficulty right now. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Metroidvania Souls-like mashup.
Yeah. But I also think that might be early game jitters where people are just like trying to get comfortable with the game.
Yeah.
It happens with the Souls franchise too, where people will claim that they're unfair. And then when people finally get comfortable with it, they're like, oh, no, wait, no, this is actually fantastic. I love it. So we'll see how things pan out in a couple of weeks.
I felt the same way with like Hades. You know, the first boss had me stumped for a while, or like I could beat him once in a while, and I was like, this game's too hard. And then you just kind of figure it out and you get the feeling for the game, and then you're like, oh yeah, first boss, no problem, you know.
Yeah.
So well, that's cool. I'm happy that they've seen so much success with the game. Maybe this is a lesson to other indie devs to set up your preloading if you're expecting to be stupidly successful. Can't imagine this lesson's going to come in handy for too many indie devs out there. But
I think this is an anomaly.
Yeah, for sure. This month is going to shape up to be a pretty good gaming month. We got Borderlands 4 coming out. Are they giving out early access keys to that or no?
Not that I heard.
I haven't heard of it.
Keys?
Yeah, or something. Yeah.
No, I haven't heard anything.
Okay, I'm just curious because so game journalism outlets have gotten early access, and they're saying good things about it. But I always get a little skeptical when I'm like, just game journalists are getting it and not.
I think I know that there's been some YouTubers that have familiarity with the franchise, have had an early chance, and I've heard positive things coming from them too. If that's, sorry, I didn't know exactly what you meant by that.
Yeah, no, that is what I meant. So okay, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. So I'm hearing good things about it, so that's exciting. Another mega launch coming.
They're really trying to emphasize that this isn't Borderlands 3. They realized and are like, hey guys, we understand that 3 was a misstep. It wasn't great. And
is it mostly the story that people didn't like? I never played the third one.
Rough. The story was like all about like content creators and streamers and being bombastic, and it just didn't really hit, I think, the way they wanted it to. So it's still going to be, inappropriate humor and the Borderlands vibe, but I hear they're trying to go for something that's a little less silly in that, just like over the top.
Okay.
I was gonna say grounded, but like it's Borderlands. It's not gonna be grounded.
Yeah. Is that what you're playing Friday?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I played through Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I think is what it was called, which was a few years back. It was like a standalone side project, which I thought was really good.
Right.
I really enjoyed it, and it felt good. Fingers crossed that we're gonna see something that's similar in quality to that one.
Yeah. Did you see that Battlefield 6 is getting a higher Gore rating than prior titles?
I think I heard, but so what does that mean?
I guess it maybe restricts who it can be sold to in certain markets. So it might be different countries have different Gore restrictions on it. I personally didn't notice any major changes with the Gore in the game. Did you?
No, I didn't notice anything at all.
Yeah. So if it's getting a higher Gore rating because they upped some sort of nuance effect. All right, Matt, can you stop tripping over power cables? All right. First, it's Valve, crashing Steam. Now you tripped over the Discord server power cable. Discord crashed in the middle of recording this podcast. Now we're on Google Meets. Thank you, Google.
A bit of a klutz. Hopefully Google can be more reliable than Discord.
My God, the tech stuff. You know what's funny is Atif, who's in chat, was like, the first thing he says when he joins chat was like, anybody notice Discord's acting weird today? I'm like, no, it's been mostly fine. Maybe a little bit of lag on some messages. Bam, crashes right in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah, I saw people saying rip Discord. I was like, I wonder why that is. And lo and behold, we have the answer.
Yeah. So if you guys are noticing slightly lower audio quality on Matt's, because we're on Google Meets and Google Meets doesn't care about audio fidelity because they're not really. I wonder if they are set up for better. I'm going to mess with the settings.
I have no idea.
The whole thing is going to crash.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah.
Unless it's sounds terrible or something.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any sort of advanced settings that are like, turn up the bit rate, bro.
Yeah.
So where were we? Oh yeah, the Gore. So Battlefield 6 Gore. Here's what I wanted to say on that was they're getting a higher Gore rating. I personally didn't notice what has changed in terms of
Neither
gore.
did I.
Like maybe there's more blood. I guess when you're dragging a body, there's streaks of blood on the ground, but like it wasn't.
Yeah, I guess there was that. That's true.
Yeah.
But we see that in other games like Siege and
yeah. So I'm wondering like if DICE made an effort to increase the Gore and then it's increasing their ratings, which is going to reduce the amount of people they can sell the game to. Probably not worth it considering you and I can't even tell what's changed if they did make a change, or the Gore rating for countries has changed and they're just rating it more strictly now. I don't know.
It's possible, but I mean, it's I don't see it going beyond a mature rating. I don't see it. Maybe for some countries, I know Australia can be quite strict when it comes to certain things, so maybe. But I'm not too bothered by it. I don't think DICE is probably going to be bothered by it either. But we'll see. Maybe they'll make some changes.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's basically all the BF6 news of interest. Unless you heard anything else, we kind of covered it all last time.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty quiet, but that makes sense because I'm sure they're all hands on deck trying to just make the game and have it come out.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they did their labs play test, then it concluded. And so I think the leaks have stopped unless people are like doing late leaks or whatever. But
yeah, waiting to showcase. The only thing that I'm somewhat worried about now is we still haven't seen any actual single player stuff, like gameplay.
Are you concerned though, Matt? Like how pumped are you for that single player?
I'm not super pumped, but at the same time, I don't want it to just be terrible and I want it to be, if they're gonna sell a single player, I want it to actually function, and be decent.
Yeah. That is one of the most likely aspects of this game to suck overall because of the studio that was making the single player getting shut down like a year after it opened. And then they're like, we'll just transfer all the assets over to these other 3 studios and have them finish it. And they're like,
right.
That's not going to work. We basically had to rebuild it from the ground up. So 1 year less time to work on it, plus different studios handling stuff. It just sounds like a bit of a nightmare. as opposed to one dedicated studio building the single player, which seems much better. So
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think we got some jank to look forward to in the single player scene, but I could be wrong. Maybe they're going to pull it together. Could be amazing. We don't know, but they haven't. It's not really been a big part of the trailers so far. So
they did have like the big opening with the president and all that, and so I'm sure they got something cooking, but it's a little worrisome that we are about a month away now from launch, and we haven't seen any actual gameplay of the single player.
They could do it like Delta Force, and the single player could drop like months after launch or whatever.
That's true, and if they need to take the time, take the time. But I hope it's better than Delta Force single player, because oh boy, that one was not great.
That one was it was pretty and stupid is what it was. It just no depth. Great looking UE5 visuals, and just like other than that, you're like, is this even balanced? Like, none of it was set up for like co-op.
50,000 rockets flying toward your face every 2 seconds. It was a lot.
Yeah, it was realistic, Matt. That's what it was.
Oh, like. It was real.
Yeah. There's some fun hardware stuff that I'm interested in. So obviously we talk about AI a lot on this podcast because I think it's kind of the future. It's the happening thing. It's getting integrated to every facet of life, especially gaming, pretty regularly.
Yeah, I don't use it ever, unless you consider me Googling something and seeing the AI prompt pop up.
Yeah, that's fair, but also kind of your main work is streaming. So
that's true.
There's not a whole lot that you would need to use it for there. I can't think of any things where I'm like, that would really enhance your workflow, Right. Because I literally replacing you on the screen. Yeah. Unless it's playing the game for you or replacing your avatar. I don't see much of a use case for you. But I do a lot of writing, script writing, or writing stuff for game related things. I use it for all kinds of stuff. It's incredibly useful for research. So like instead of actually writing the scripts for me, I use it to look up facts incredibly fast. Mm-hmm. So like when I'm working on a Battlefield script, I can be like, is this the first gun to ever do this thing? And it'll tell me right away. Yeah. And like source it. The problem is it's not always right, but it can usually get me close enough. And if it gives me an answer
point in the right direction,
skeptical, I'm like, hang on a second, is it actually this? And then it's like, nope, sorry, I lied. And you're like, okay, thanks AI.
I lied. I just thought you would, be okay with this answer. So sorry.
Yeah. Well, so there was a survey recently that said 87% of game devs are currently using AI in their workflow. And that's from testing their games to writing the story for their game to scripting code to doing art assets for the game. Like Steam has that little checkbox, is this game using AI? That's going to become obsolete pretty soon because
it's going to be everything. Yeah.
Because if it says 87% of game devs, okay, well, if there's a team of 4 game devs, then more than 50% of them are probably using AI in their workflow. So that game's you got to check the checkbox, man. It's not 87% of games, it's 87% of game devs. So you only need one person on that team using AI before you got to acknowledge that this game is using AI tools.
So I derailed you there. So what was the story?
Oh yeah. Okay. So, I thought this was interesting, and actually this could be relevant to your workflow, Matt. So the Xbox ROG Ally, which is the handheld Xbox, Steam Deck competitor. It's coming with AI hardware, so AI chips built into the hardware. And the first use case that they've advertised with it, there'll probably be more, is having it auto-compile highlight reels of your gameplay that allegedly won't suck, but
I've seen this before where there's been like there's been some software out there that has advertised like, hey, we'll have this software watch your gameplay and then it will clip everything for you so you don't have to worry about that. I've never tried it, but
I have tried that when it was first announced because I was like, wow, this could save me a ton of time in editing my own footage. If it is even moderately competent, and it wasn't. It was horrible.
I figured it wouldn't be.
Is complete trash. That said, this was probably a couple years ago, I think.
Yeah, it would be a couple years by now.
It'd be something I'd be curious to try out sooner. Adobe, the company that makes Photoshop and Adobe Premiere, which is a popular video editing software, they keep talking about how they're going to integrate AI tools to their editing software. I'm like, that sounds great. Love to see that. And every time they come out with something, it's always like this really limited, really underdeveloped tool. And I think we're going to start seeing offerings from other brands pretty soon. They can do some pretty impressive stuff, but YouTube's got that stuff going on where it can like auto translate your voice for you.
Right.
Which
Dub it.
I'm hearing sounds pretty weird. Actually, that'd be an interesting thing to hear. Is there anybody that listens to us in a non-English format out there? Because I guess it's a relatively new feature, and I think YouTube is auto doing that to my channel now. I got like a notification saying like it's enabled. People can hear you guys in Spanish or whatever.
So it uses your voice, but it's in Spanish?
I think so.
So that's...
¿Cómo estás?
Yeah, ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien. I mean, that's cool, but it's also them taking your voice and then using it. I mean, it's translating you.
Yeah. I think you can disable it if you don't want
I was like, I hope you can disable that stuff because
you don't want,
it's cool. I personally wouldn't have any issue with it if it's just translating, but at the same time, they are using your voice for something that you technically didn't say.
Yeah. Bro, it's not your voice anymore. This is 2025. Okay, it belongs.
Your
voice belongs to Twitch or Google or somebody now.
Your voice, you belong to the corporation.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was interesting where more AI stuff is coming into the gaming world. The auto clip thing probably gonna suck on first thing.
Probably.
Who knows? Like the idea that somebody could be playing on a little handheld and then uploading pre-edited highlight reels to like, I don't know, YouTube. I can't imagine any of that content being good, but
yeah, that's the thing is when I don't think the audience is there for something like that. I mean, it's cool to have the technology. I'm not going to say, but also I don't think the audience is really seeking that out. Like how many people are playing on a handheld, which inherently for me is a more casual experience, right?
Yeah.
Are then wanting to upload their footage to something, it's like, hey, there was a cool moment that happened in Silksong and it was nuts. And, here you go. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I don't really know what the sharing economy is like amongst people who are not trying to be streamers, who are just gamers and like, check this out or check out my highlight reel or whatever. Cause they've had clip stuff on consoles forever now where you can make a clip of something.
Yeah, clip that.
Yeah.
So garbage.
Yeah. The other interesting AI thing is semi-AI, semi-creepy internet ID stuff. So you sort of heard about the internet ID stuff that is gaining popularity amongst governments and seemingly nobody else.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if it's popularity would be the right word to use, but I hear you.
The governments are like, more authority over our citizens, heck yeah, and then the citizens are like, hey, I didn't vote for this, and they're like, doesn't matter, have fun. So lots of basically the whole thing is requiring IDs, photo IDs to get into certain places of the internet, whether it's a website or services and whatnot.
Right.
Gaming now seems to be jumping on board with this. Razer is partnering with a company that is going to use similar technology with eye scanning and photo IDs to try and prevent botting and or cheating in games. So like if you can verify your identity when you log into a video game, it'll be like, yep, that's a human player playing and it's blue check mark Timio.
No, no.
Yeah.
No.
I hate it as well.
So
I think this is the worst.
The fact you have to verify every time you log in. Please stand still while we scan you for verification.
Yeah.
Gross.
Please present hall pass. And
Yeah,
it's like, oh, it's
yeah.
not Matimio. Oh, he got contacts. It's not scanning his eyes correctly.
Please put your eye next to the device. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I hate everything about this as well. Because one, the technology is, of course, not going to work properly. And it's going to have all kinds of problems when you're just like, oh, I can't log into my game and play with my friends because it's not recognizing my face right now. Ah, you know?
Yeah.
So that would be unbearably annoying. And then the other side of it is like, cool, one more way for a company to have all this creepy data and access to me and my computer and all that stuff.
Right. Because, if you go to a local, let's say, local basketball game with the boys, right? Like, of course, obviously know everyone there is a human. At least I would hope so.
Yeah.
But then you leave the basketball court or whatever, and then you're not there anymore. But then with something like this, it's like, are they always watching? Like, it's much different when you're,
it
the
also
camera's
seems
always
like
on, right?
An easy system to dupe, which has already happened with the Internet ID system that they're trying to do, where they're people are showing how they can use the character creator in like video games to dupe the facial recognition thing. So yeah, it's all just so silly. You could literally set up the facial recognition thing to work from a fake character and then just always present that fake character. And then you're like, doesn't matter. I can have any ID, any account, whatever. So there's all kinds of stuff with this. And I just don't like it in general. I think the government's getting a little too handsy. And when I say the government, I mean like lots of governments are getting a little too comfortable with this snoop on you technology. Under the guise of protecting us and our children and all that stuff. But it's, I'm not buying it, man. I really just don't buy that argument.
I don't blame you. Highly skeptical. Highly.
Yeah. Be curious to, I haven't heard a single gamer that's in favor of any of this Internet ID stuff. I haven't heard a single person, but if you're out there, let me know in the comments. Present your interesting argument for why this might be good, or if you actually think it'll lead to good things.
Yeah.
Or more good things than more bad things, rather. What have you been playing, Matt?
All sorts of stuff. I played the game Cronos The New Dawn. You ever hear that one?
No.
It is by the same people that made the remake recently, which was stellar. It was a great game. And this is their kind of attempt at making something similar, but not quite the same. It is heavily inspired by, like, I would say Dead Space, Resident Evil, and Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Dead Space in the sense of like combat. You are fighting humans that have kind of morphed into each other and are, necroborgs, right?
I've seen the trailer for this, and it does look cool, man.
Yeah. I like what they've done with the combat. It's definitely tense. They give you a pistol where you need to, it really almost every needs to charge for you to do more damage. And because of that, not only does the feedback from the weapons just feel really meaty when you hit something with it, like they react and the sound and the recoil all is really well done. But because you have to charge it, it means it adds to that tension where it's like, it's about to swing. And so I think they've nailed that aspect of it. It gets a bit repetitive with the combat. Like there's only so many enemies and things like that, but they at least do a pretty good job of pacing and making things interesting all throughout the gameplay. It took me about 15 hours to beat. Story was weird. Definitely does the whole, you won't really know what's going on until the very end sort of vibe, which can kind of get a little like old. We're like, just tell me what's happening, please. Like you've been stringing me along here for 12 hours. Just tell me please just tell me the twist. But the twist was good. The twist was solid. I overall thought it was a solid game. I thought it was okay.
Okay, cool. It's a pretty looking game.
It's scary, but it's more like Dead Space scary, where there's like jump scares, here and there. Not too bad. Like they don't rely on it. But it's more of just the fear of you're fighting some horrible abominations that want to devour your face. And that's because you have a weapon. And as soon as you give the player the weapon, I feel like games become less scary, at least from my experience.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, it's always scarier when you're not on equal footing and you're just like,
Right.
oh, I gotta run.
Right.
Yeah, it's sort of that like once you get the vibe for the combat, you're like, all right, come here, baddie. I'm gonna like
Exactly.
blow your
Yeah.
face off, and now you're not afraid of it anymore.
Right. It might initially scare you, but then you're like, all right, buddy, I know how this tango works. They
Yeah.
did have some neat mechanics with it's not really it's a futuristic. There's like you can it's
Is
like
it
gravity
like the
stuff.
apocalypse? Is that what's
Oh
going
yeah,
on?
it's 100% apocalyptic. Yeah, it's
Okay.
dystopian as hell. Yeah, things have gone very, very wrong.
Did they open a gateway to hell? They did, didn't they?
They did. No, there's no gateway to hell that I was aware of. But
is it a
anyway,
virus? What's that? Oh, you can't. There's a twist.
it would be spoilery. Yeah,
Okay.
it would be spoilery. So there is like a
This
gravity
has got
thing
some
where you
stalker vibes in it with the gravity and the like sort of.
there's anomalies. Yeah, there is anomalies in it. Yeah, but it's only usually like a gravity anomaly where things like float. That's about it. There's really nothing. Necromorphs. There's like some really cool sections where you will bounce from like platform to platform and like change gravitational like direction. So you'll be like on the ceiling and fighting them, which is kind of neat. Doesn't vastly change the gameplay at all, and it kind of becomes a bit of a gimmick. But it is cool when you're fighting a necromorph and it's on the ceiling, and then you kill it, and then it falls to the ground or like hits things along the way as it's falling, because the gravity obviously is the other direction for it, right? So that was cool. I did like that. The final boss sucks.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's how I would design a game too, is like put all the effort up front, guys. And then you get to the last boss and you're like, yeah.
Without getting into spoilers, it had some gameplay mechanics that were just like, I don't know how to avoid this damage at all. Like, I actually don't know how to avoid this damage. And even my chat was like, dude, this is ridiculous. So it could have been a skill issue. Could have been all on my end.
Game designer was like, "Oh, you thought this game wasn't hard enough, eh? Here's the final." That's tough to do it on the last boss too, when you're just like, "I'm almost there. How many times are you gonna make me fight this guy?"
I only had to fight him like 3 times, so it wasn't that bad. But when you have no problems throughout the entire game, and then you hit the final boss, and then you're just like, "Why? I literally cannot avoid this damage. What do you want me to do?" It can be a little frustrating. So in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that bad. I was able to take them out, but it was overall a solid game. $60 might be a little steep for some, and I might like when it goes on sale. But I thought it was pretty fun. It was a good game.
Fair enough. You know, it's funny. I played this game, and this was a sponsorship for this game called Metal Eden. I don't know if you heard.
Oh yeah. I heard about that. How was it?
I didn't beat it. I didn't play it all the way through yet. I hear it's short though, so I think I got pretty close to beating it. It's not bad. It's like Cyberpunk meets Doom kind of, and it's got a little bit of a runner. I like the pacing of it more than I like Doom's pacing, because it really is just like, hey, we don't want to send you too far off the beaten path looking for stuff. Just like keep running and shooting guys and moving. And so it kind of has like a nice flow state vibe to it, which I like. It's funny though, because you can tell when like a game is sort of just like, we need to add another mechanic just because the boss says we need another mechanic. And so on some levels you can turn into a ball like Samus, basically.
Okay.
And then you roll and then you shoot stuff with lightning from your ball. And all the ball gameplay sucks. It's like just half baked. You're just like, why? Like, I don't want to do this
because you just need another mechanic, as you said.
Yeah. So it's just like,
for the sake of it.
It was one of those things where I'm like, I can see the meeting in which some dude was like, we need a different thing, and what if on a level you turn into a ball? And the guys are just like, oh crap. All right, here we go. Like, the game would have been better with less. It's one of those less is more things where I'm like, if that had just been a level that was about shooting guys and bouncing off of stuff. I thought it had some really neat mechanics overall though. One of the things that I liked about the game a lot is that all your weapons have very limited ammo. So you're forced to switch between them a lot. But what'll happen is you get into sort of an arena area, right? Where guys are going to keep spawning in and you're going to have to kill all the guys, which is very Doom style. But what's different about it is that the arena, it's set up with lots of wall running and jump pads and all this stuff for you to jump around on and stuff. But you start developing paths because you have to keep picking up armor and weapons along the way to keep topping you off, because you're blasting through your weapons really fast, and the bad guys have good accuracy, so they're going to hit you a decent amount of the time if you're not crazy on it with all your dodging. So you got to heal up and get more armor and all that stuff. So it ends up being basically a classic arena shooter like Quake 3, where you have to set up your routes and your ways to get through the level to get all your boosts and all your weapons and stuff to try and beat the other guys. And so it felt like I was playing a classic arena shooter, but in a linear, narrative-driven, cyberpunky Doom game. So I like that of it. I've heard some criticisms that the game's not long enough, so I didn't get to the end of it. But if I was almost at the end, then I would probably concur. But it's fun. It's weird. It's like very anime in both story and styling, where you're just like, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like some people are saying like they beat in 5 hours. So
yeah, that's not very.
It's relatively short. Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's also it's an indie game.
I liked all the stuff about it. Is the thing is, like, if they made it into a 10-hour game, I think it would be getting top marks. But if it's it
is $40. Yeah,
40 is a little much. It's funny because they asked me to do a sponsor video for it, and I didn't know how much it was gonna sell for. So it's just like one of those things where you're like, here's a cool game. Please don't be charging like $60. Please don't be charging $60 because you just don't know. Because you're like, this is either a review for a good game or a bad game.
Well, it's not really a review.
It's not a review. Yeah, I know. An overview. Is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Right. So you're like, here's an overview, but I don't have the price of the game, so I don't know if it's charging too much for what they're offering.
Right.
Yeah.
Always. All in all, you enjoyed it though, right?
I did. I
thought about picking it up too.
Yeah, I like the runner aspect of it. It made me think more about shooters that involve a lot of this, like, really kind of like the Mirror's Edge, where you're constantly running and parkouring and stuff. That's a big part of this game, and it really is fun. So it just made me think about, like, I want more games that really capitalize on this never stop. It's basically a movement shooter, but you don't stop moving, and it's a linear game. So the levels are huge. You're like moving really quickly down these long linear levels. And I like that about it a lot. It was less stopping and looking around and trying to find doors and keys and stuff like that. And it's just like, go, kill everything, keep going, kill everything. And I was like, yeah, it's very flow statey.
That's cool.
Yeah. And it had good music, which helped a lot.
Nice. I did have a chance to play Anno, the new Anno. Are you looking forward to that at all? Yeah.
I am. I'm not looking forward to losing the amount of hours that I'm going to lose to it. But
yeah. I have a demo. I think it might still be available. I'm not sure. And you can only play for an hour, which isn't enough. It's nowhere near enough.
That's insane. Is it just like they're not far enough along with the game? So they're
no, I think they're just trying to give you a taste, right? It's meant to be a demo, if you want to try it.
Yeah.
But actually, I feel
that's fair. I've heard the rule of thumb from other indie devs anyway is to give anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour and a half, and no more than that. So maybe they're just sticking with that kind of guideline.
It could be. I would have loved if they allowed you to, but just only within like a certain, because you get to like a certain stage in development, right? Because like in the Anno series, you level up your citizens to like the next tier, and I got them to tier 2, but it would have been nice if I could have just continued to play on tier 2 and just experiment and try and build like within that confound in our country.
Yeah.
What's really cool about the game is that there's essentially going to be two different style of architecture. You have the Pax Romana, which is beautiful, kind of your I'm having a huge brain fart right now, but your Roman architecture,
Greek and Roman architecture,
and then you have like your Celtic architecture
Mhm.
where you will be making so you're going to have different islands, right? And depending on where you start, you can also decide to have like a Celtic theme to it, where all their buildings will look vastly. They also will function differently too. They'll have different needs. So it's essentially a
That's
slightly
cool.
different way of playing the game, which I was like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
It's not exactly the same. They require different resources. They need different things. Their bonuses are different. So
Yeah.
it'll give you. So if you play like one playthrough as the Pax Romana, then like you can do that, or you can play as the Celtics, which is neat.
Do they still have the mechanic where you kind of get obsessive about where you place all your little buildings next to each other to get the
they still have
maximum
that. Yeah,
efficiency? I love that, dude.
I love that too.
It's one of the greatest things where I'm just like, every RTS style game needs some sort of adjacency or placement bonus where you're like, if you think about where you place this building in relation to another building, it could operate a little bit more efficiently. And I love how Anno does that, because you're like, oh, I can really maximize this if I'm smart about it.
Yeah, and what's fun in this too is that you can now have curved roads where you can, so not necessarily like they can be kind of curved, where you can't like have it do like a U or anything, but you can have it go diagonally now, where because normally it's just grid. In the past it was just grid based, but now you like veer off to the left, and then it'll make like a straight line off to the side, like we're following a mountain instead, and where that just simply was not possible in the past. So that kind of opens up a lot more.
2000 tech levels now.
Yeah,
angled roads. Crazy?
Yeah. They have the technology now. It makes things look way more organic.
Yeah,
and I like that a lot. It's more Anno, so I'm sure hopefully it will just be not necessarily more of the same, but the consistency of the previous series, because I know people love those.
You an hour too, so you're just like you're chomping at the bit. You're like, an hour of Anno is nothing. Like,
it really was. I wish that they gave you like a cutoff in terms of technological advancement and just was like, hey, just have fun with it, because I would have definitely spent way more time just experimenting with the different systems. It's cool. I wasn't able to touch any of the military stuff that was in there, but I just didn't have the time to do it. You can build like fortifications, you can build barracks and walls. So I don't know how you're going to be able to make that all work in the grand scheme of things, because much like regular city building in real life, and as we've seen in fantasy, or really just in history as well, they build a giant castle and walls, and it's like, well, we need to build out beyond this now. People want to build, and so you're going to have probably a big wall around one part of your city, and then you have to, just out of necessity, start building beyond that, where you have other stuff.
That will be. I wonder if the citizens will flee back into the city when you're under siege.
I don't know how that's going to work.
Because that's how I think IRL castles and villages would work, right? You run back into the castle when you're under attack, and then watch your farm get burned down from the castle walls. You're like, dang it.
I also don't know how the attacking system. If they can only, that was one thing that I didn't really like about the previous Anno, and it's technically the only Anno I played. They can only really attack from the shore, and so
it was
in one part of the shore.
Yeah,
and so if they can only do that, well, then it'd be kind of lame, because all you have to do then is just around that one section, and it's just a chokehold. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, Anno's strengths have never really been in the combat side of things. It's sort of like neat that you can do it, but when it becomes too big a part of the gameplay, I think it's not as good. And hopefully it's not. Hopefully there's not as much trade route crap going on, because that was also the least enjoyable part of the previous Anno, was like setting up trade routes and then having to keep track of them. And you're like, oh, a pirate killed my trading ship, but I didn't notice the alert or something, so now my entire economy crashed because my trade route stopped trading. Cool.
Yeah, I found that to be a bit obnoxious too. And then it just becomes overwhelming. I like the city building. I love that, making things expand. As soon as I now have to start to manage 50 different cities and then the pirates in between, it's just like, I don't want to do that.
And Anno 1800 actually kind of realized that that was people really liked that part of the game and not the trading part. And so they came out with an expansion that let you build on this like just endless island.
Oh, just a really big island.
Yeah, massive island, and I think people like that a lot. Where they're like, "Oh, cool! I don't have to do all this trading crap. Now I can just like build a mega city."
Yeah, if I could just if it was like a big island and I could just make small cities on the island and then eventually they may become one. You know, that I would personally prefer that, but I'm also more basic.
No, I think the entire user base was like, "We want that," and then they made a DLC that did that. So I was like, "Good on them, cool."
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd be curious to see if Pax Romana does some of that as well.
Yeah,
I do like
all I'll
Anno
say is
a lot.
it was a solid experience. I enjoyed myself.
It's funny, I know I talk about Beyond All Reason a little bit on this channel, and I haven't been playing it too much lately. It's a fun little time waster, and I play it with my son on weekends sometimes, but he's so into it now. Like, we'll be going on a walk or a hike or something, and he'll just be talking about Beyond All Reason the whole time. He'll be like, I think I'm going to try a new strategy. And then he'll like tell me his entire strategy for like 15 minutes. And I'm like, oh man, this kid's like into it. He's a little gamer.
He's got the bug.
Yeah. And then he doesn't want to play like adventure games or action games. He's like, nah, I'll just play this cool RTS. And I'm like, that's like how I grew up too. I was like, just give me RTSs, man.
Yeah.
Warcraft 1 was a little out of date by the time I started getting into RTSs, and it was about Warcraft 2, Command and Conquer. Those were sort of the big heavy hitters.
Yeah. Yep.
Dude, do you remember Command and Conquer Red Alert, dude? Red Alert?
I mean, yeah, I knew of it. I didn't really play it much when I was growing up though, because I didn't have money.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny is I didn't actually have Red Alert when it was big. My friend Mike had Red Alert, and he had. Do you remember Gateway PCs?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the like Moo branding. I don't know if they're still a brand or not. They probably got bought by somebody, but
probably
they were like the premium PC that you could get back then. That was like the high end.
And you had one of those?
He had a top end Gateway, and he had Command and Conquer Red Alert, and I would go over to his house and we'd just trade off playing matches against people and just like backseat driving the strategy for each other. Like, oh, build that, he's coming in. Oh, do that.
Coming to the left, watch out.
Yeah. And man, that was endlessly fun. Red Alert was fantastic. That was
those were good games.
The premiere of strategy gaming at the time.
Yeah.
I miss it, dude. What's March of Giants?
It is a MOBA. Apparently, I've been a MOBA vibe lately. I got into a
Deadlock. Just you can't put it down now.
Yeah, it's made by former Siege developers, apparently. And it is.
Yeah. Wait, this is out to play now?
It is in a closed alpha, so I just had to sign up for it.
Yeah. Okay, we talked about this last podcast, and it did look really cool.
Yeah. So you play as a giant creature, a giant, and it's a lot like a MOBA.
It's got that. What's the anime vibe? Attack on Titan. It's got that vibe.
It definitely has that vibe for sure. I had fun with it. It was unfortunately I use WASD to move my camera when I play MOBAs, which apparently is weird, but I couldn't actually set the keys up to do that, which was unfortunate. So I didn't really have my preferred setup. So it was hard for me.
How do you move your camera then?
By using you move your mouse to the side of the screen and then it moves it.
Okay.
That's pretty standard.
Is WASD moving your character or what?
Well, some games allow you to do that, like Path of Exile and things, but no. Most of the time, people aren't even using their WASD for anything other than like a. Okay. So like UWER would be your 4 abilities, which is the same for this. But what's unique about it is that you actually have like a little bit of a base building mechanic where you can go out and gather resources and you can bring that back to your different lanes to set up like trenches. Mm-hmm. You have these each wave that comes in with a bunch of and those you can use to take out their fortifications or even like deal damage to their other players.
Can you control the tiny units?
You can. So you can send them out and you can bring them back. Usually,
that's really cool. Can you stockpile them too?
You can't stockpile them. No, I think you can only have like a. You can summon a lot at once, and then I think that you can then use. But yeah, you need to use them or you lose them, sort of a vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can send them out, which they can scout. Like if you think someone's in a bush, like a giant tree, it's kind of hard to describe. Basically, the bushes in League of Legends, they hide inside of those.
I gotcha.
You can send them out and scout. You can use them to deal damage, take out fortifications, and yeah, it's an interesting twist. It plays a bit more slow and methodical. It's not as fast paced as Dota or League of Legends.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, he's on me. Gonna take him about 5 hits to kill me, and he's gonna do it because I'm way out of position. I just gonna have to sit here and watch him do it, right?
Okay.
There's nothing I can do. So it is a bit of a slower game, do you think
once you get the nuance of it down, you'll be making less mistakes, and that those kind of instances won't be as common or something?
I'm sure. Yeah. So it was all right. I thought it was okay. Yeah.
I like the idea of a MOBA where you can control the small units like an RTS. Like, that's cool. Like, that's a neat concept, and the art style and the vibe of this game I like a lot as well. You don't sound overly enthusiastic about it though.
I wasn't. It didn't knock my socks off for sure.
That's unfortunate. I do want Amazon gaming to become like a bigger thing, because obviously they got tons of money, and I'd love to see them throw that money at game development, and they have been. Like, New Worlds wasn't bad or isn't bad. It's still a thing.
Yep.
And they're the only ones with enough balls to try an MMO in like a long time, or like a traditional MMO, I should say.
Right.
Which I was excited to see. It had all the traditional MMO problems.
It sold a ton of copies at launch, so
yeah,
they must have made some money out of it.
I think people are just excited to play a new fantasy world, like here's an MMO, you can grind it for 100 hours or however long you want to grind it for, and it's got a complete fantasy story for you to get into and all these characters. So it's like, great. I can see the appeal for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've bailed on a lot of their game projects. So hopefully this one does well. I want it to do well.
Yeah, me too.
Amazon Games Montreal are the developers. So.
That would make sense, because that's where Siege is.
Okay. Cool. Well, I hope I hope maybe like some of your, like, you seem less enthusiastic about it, but I would imagine if this was a closed alpha, that's for feedback and adjustment. And so Siege certainly righted the ship and made a lot of changes based on feedback and adjustment. So maybe they can really fine tune and balance this game.
Yeah. I'm not worried about it. I'm also not the biggest top-down MOBA player. I mean, Deadlock, sure, but that's very different.
Yeah, it's not top down, right?
Right.
Yeah, cool, man. I started rewatching The Expanse, and
okay.
I'm sort of watching it while I'm working on my game because it gets me in the space vibe,
Yep.
Like, yeah, spaceships and hardcore sci-fi physics and it's just, and politics and all that stuff. I gotta say, man, it is hitting harder the second time around, because the first time I watched The Expanse was before I read any of the books. So I read the books after watching it. But the first time watching it, they're throwing so many characters and politics at you so quickly. And like,
it's hard to keep track.
Yeah, you're really focusing a lot on keeping track. And to an extent, that made it harder for me to like absorb some of the nuance of the characters, or I'd be trying to figure out plots or things while they're also showing me character nuance scenes, and then I would like miss out on it a little bit. So the second viewing through, I more or less know all the bullet points, so I'm able to absorb the details a little bit more and enjoy the details, not worry about forgetting who's who and who's doing what and whose motivations are where. I kind of already know that stuff, but now I'm absorbing a lot more details, and the darkness of the story is sort of getting to me more, where I'm just like, dang, like every character in this show has got this really dark, gruesome backstory, and it's like, it's all tragic. Like, all of it is tragic, and they almost don't give you enough time to absorb the tragedy of it on the first viewing because it's just so politically intertwined and complex. And then the second time through, I'm just like, dang, like they showed the backstory of, I forgot the guy who runs the giant space station who's building the Mormon ship in it. I forgot his name.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember his name, but I know who you're.
Yeah, so his backstory is like super dark, where he was like a Marine and was put in charge of quelling the terrorists on this space station, but the terrorists were just people who were protesting that their children were getting, brain problems because the oxygen wasn't clean enough on the station.
Oh,
And so he goes in and like basically kills them all. And there's just this scene of like a dad holding his daughter as he like drifts out into space. And you're just like, God, this is so dark. This is so tragic. Yeah. I was just like, I don't even remember that scene the first viewing through. And then second time through, I'm like, oh my God. It just hit.
I don't even remember that scene, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. It's just, well, because I knew what was going to happen this time around. And then I really started to pay attention to the characters more, where I'm like, oh man, like that little girl who's like doing her little puzzles and learning how to read with her dad, she's gonna be dead in like 5 minutes. Like, it's just so sad. You're watching.
Yeah.
Like, anyway,
it's one of my top favorite shows. It's good.
It's so good. It's so good. And the details that they adhere to with all the spaceship stuff and the combat and all of it is just so well executed, where you're just like, you want to find plot holes and you're like, man, no, they really they nailed it down. They really thought this through. It's fantastic.
That's great.
It. I want more, and it's getting me hyped for that Expanse game.
I might have to rewatch it myself.
Yeah.
Woe is me.
Yeah. And then still working through Clarkson's farm, which is still great. Enjoying it. Still into farming equipment. Still want to do farming.
Still gonna be a farmer.
Yeah, I like goats, man. Goats are cool. They're it's not really a money crop, you know. You're not gonna be making a lot of money from goats.
God, I love that. God, you've probably seen it where he's like whispering about the wonders of farming. He's like, you see these sheep? Yeah, they grow wool. They just grow wool. It's free money. It's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the funniest part of this is like, so Jeremy Clarkson's, all his plans are, he just dives into a new plan, and that's sort of the charm of the show, is him going like, let's do this, and then everybody who knows farming is like, you've just spent a ton of money and this is a disaster, nothing's set up correctly, and you're gonna lose tons of money, and then he goes, huh? And then they deal with it, and that's kind of like the repeating notes of the show. Yeah, the theme. And so he bought sheep because he wanted sheep, and they turned out to be like a massive money pit and screwed up everything. And then he got goats to like handle all these brambles on his property because he couldn't cut it down with the machines that they had, because they were off in weird spots, and goats will eat everything, so they're excellent for property clearing. And but then if they're super smart and they escape from everything, and so if they escape, they'll destroy your entire farm basically. they're like tribbles or something. They'll just like get out there and just destroy everything. And so it's just really funny, because they're gonna get out and destroy everything, because he's terrible at building fences and keeping things in. So it's just fun to watch, man. And I know my friend had goats when I was growing up, and I'd go stay over at his place for like a weekend, and I just liked goats. They're fun. They'll eat the clothes right off of you while you're standing there.
I believe it. Yeah.
You know, it's kind of endearing. You just don't bring any good clothes when you go hang out with the goats. You're just like, yeah, this is my old painting shirt. I don't mind if it gets a little bite mark
Nibbled.
in it. Yeah, a little nibble. Yeah. I don't know. I want to do it, Matt, one day. It's my retirement plan.
One day after you become a mega gaming programmer.
Yes. Yeah. This is what I'm telling you, dude. Farming and game development, it's a really common combination, dude.
I believe it.
Not even game development, but programming and farming, I would say. Like, I know a lot of programmers who are also farmers. I'm like, yeah, I get this combination, man. It makes a lot of sense. People just want to be out in nature. And they're like, yeah, I got to stare at a screen, do math all day.
I want to be outside.
I want to hang out with some chickens and some goats. Get back to the basics. Yeah. Any farming aspirations from you, Matt?
Not really, no.
No.
Not entirely. I am allergic to going outside though, but so that's kind of a big negative.
When you say allergic, do you mean literally or figuratively?
I'm allergic to grass.
So the grass pollen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So when people are like, "Oh, I love the smell of fresh cut grass," and I'm like, "No, it's awful."
Okay, so it just messes up your allergies pretty bad.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, if you are that badly allergic to it, you can get allergy shots that'll.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I could. Yeah.
Okay.
It's gotten way better over the years, mainly probably because I don't go outside as much, but yeah, it's gotten better.
You're like, I could cure it, but I'm just not that into the outside, I'll just stay inside.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, some Pacific Northwesterner you are. This the land of hiking and waterfalls and rivers, and you're like, yeah, I'll admire it from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
I'll look at pictures on the internet of it.
Yep.
I live close to that. I'll never see it myself, but man, I like knowing it's out there in case I want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, cool. Any other games or things you wanted to chat about?
I tried out the Space Marine update. It was okay. It's just constantly just more updates. They had new PvP maps and a new PvP mode, which I don't really know how many people were PvP, and maybe they realized that, but I think they've got even more plans of PvP. So
I forgot that they had PvP.
Yeah, this is their year 2 update, and it's, I believe, free.
Yeah.
I think it's free.
Well, they made so much stinking money with that game at launch that I know they approved the third one like almost immediately. They're like, we're greenlit, we're starting on it. So that's cool.
So year 2 will have even more co-op missions. One just came out and it's great. It's solid. You fight a new boss. There's some new enemies that flesh out and make the a bit more varied, which I really appreciated. That was one kind of critique I had with the game, was enemy variety for some of the factions was a little bit low. Yeah. And so it's nice to have some abominations that you have to deal with. I thought that was neat. As I said, with the PvP, there's a new mode now where you basically take control over name of it. It's not a Bile Titan. That's Helldivers. But you're basically this giant abomination, and they have to kill you. And it's sort of like King of the Hill. So if your team has it and their team doesn't, it feels like you have a really big advantage, like a massive advantage. You have to fight over who team, I believe, for who gets it. And then after that, you just are like two-shotting everyone you come across as this huge creature, which is an interesting choice. But also, I'm not playing that game for the PvP. It was more of just like a fun afterthought.
Yeah. Interesting that they are putting post-launch content into that part of the game. Because you would think that they would have the data at that point to see what people are most playing, and then you just develop your content around that.
And who knows? Maybe there is just a niche that is just loving the PvP and they wanted to support it. I don't know. I won't say no.
I mean, technically, Warhammer kind of began as like a competitive tabletop game, right? It was PvP from the start. So you get all those tabletop gamers in there. Like, now we will see who is the better warrior.
Yeah.
Have you ever played the tabletop Warhammer?
I have not. No.
There's like rulers and stuff.
there are rules and rulers. Mm-hmm.
Yes, both things.
Both of them.
Yeah, I saw guys like measuring stuff, and I was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, you're measuring like the engagement ranges of things."
That's the game that Henry Cavill's into. He's really into that.
Yeah, well, I mean, tons of people are into it, but yeah, he's. I like that he's a nerd. It's cool.
Yeah, it's endearing.
Well, and unashamedly so, right? Because you don't hear about. Like, apparently there's this big like sort of celebrity D&D match in Hollywood, and like all the like big celebs that are into it, but you don't really hear about which ones are. They're like, yeah, I'm not gonna out myself as a D&D nerd.
As a nerd, who wants to be a nerd?
But then Henry Cavill is like, yeah, man, Warhammer's super cool.
It's
dope. All this stuff. And I'm like, cool, good, thank you for just saying that. You could
becoming
be
more mainstream.
Yeah,
mainstream though.
For sure. He was there's like an interview with him and the guy who plays the bard from the Witcher show.
Okay, yeah.
And they were nerding out about their Warhammer armies and like which ones were better. And then the other two girls who played like Ciri and the other chick, I forgot. Yennefer. We're just like, what the nerd are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
It was very funny.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too, man. I will get into my figurine painting phase at some point. Farming and figurine painting, you know?
Yeah.
In the morning with the sheep, then afternoon painting figs.
Start painting your figurines.
Sounds good, man. Well, cool. You wanna wrap up the old Potteroni there?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, everybody, thank you for dropping by the podcast. We appreciate y'all. If you want to show your support further, you can check out our Patreon, linked in the description. And if you become a Patreon member, you can come check us out live when we record the podcast on Mondays and watch us screw up, like Matt tripping over the power cord that turned off Discord in the middle of the podcast. And then we had to scramble to get things back up and running. That was fun. Good times. You could have been there to witness and wait through all the troubleshooting. You know, you don't want to miss that. I think I'm selling it, Matt.
You really are. You really are.
But regardless, if you're a Patreon member or you're just a podcast viewer, Matt is going to leave you with some helpful advice every episode. Take it away, Matt.
My advice this week is to watch your surroundings and watch where your feet are, because you wouldn't want to trip on something unexpectedly, because apparently I did numerous times this week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you know what? And also, like, if you're going to put an important cable on the ground, it's like put some tape over it, put some caution stuff, you know, whatever.
Yeah, maybe put it under the carpet or something, you know, just be responsible.
Yeah.
Someone could trip over that sucker.
Yeah. Also, another thing, if you're a Patreon member, you get to ask us questions midstream, which Matthew just did. And he asked me about the F1 race this weekend, in which there was a lot of fun drama. And I will be getting into that in the post-podcast session for the Patreon members, which I know Matt's got his opinions there too. What did you think about the Piastri Norris switch up during the race,
you'll have to find out.
Yeah, that's true. Well, good advice, Matt. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and we'll leave you there. Bye, everybody.
Take care.